Short day. Quick day.
Liking the weather?
Oh, yeah, we got some sun today. It was nice to see.
How would you describe, or is it interesting that this series is so different from game to game, like each team?
I think it's interesting, but it's not surprising. I've seen it before. Sometimes you have bad games, you lose big, and sometimes you have good games, you win big. But the fact that at the end of the day is the fact that matters. Both teams are very talented and very good, coached very well. So teams are going to make adjustments, and I think most of the series you're going to see are like the games we had last night. Throughout the rest of this series, hopefully we come out on top. Would be great. The team usually executes down the stretch in the fourth quarter. Usually, the team is going to win the ball game. But obviously, we want to fix some things in certain areas. They're going to fix some things and make some adjustments. But I don't think we'll see many games like games 1 and game 3.
Kawhi was asked yesterday after the game why he's so calm, cool, and collected in the playoffs in those moments. And one of the things he mentioned was the experience all those years playing with all those teams in San Antonio. Having gone through that same experience, how much has that helped both of you guys prepare for kind of this?
A ton. It's helped a ton. Being around and learning from the greats. Starting off with with Pop, he did a great job of putting us in those situations early to see. He's the type that'll test you. Pop will see if you have the guts to take the shot or make the shot. So even when I first got there early on, he ran a couple plays for me in the fourth quarter for me to take the game with a shot. I'm like, is this really what you want to do right now? But he'll test you, and obviously you learn from it. Most times you'll miss the first one. If you do make the first one, then you've always got some balls, so we can run some plays for him. But learning from Timmy, Tony, and Manu, they've been doing it for so many years, and that's just Kawhi's personality. I don't think he gets too overexcited or too underexcited or worried about anything. I think he just sees it as basketball and plays the game. And I don't think any moment matters. Or obviously he sees time and situation, but regardless of the fact, he's going to play his games, going to take his shots, do it at his pace. If he makes them, great. For him and for us. If he misses them, I don't think he'll get too upset about it. Obviously, he's a competitor and wants to win and wants to make every shot. But he's just an even keel type of guy.
Were there times with the Spurs where Pop shortened the bench a lot? Like obviously yesterday, you guys played very few guys. But how much will the one day off only between games playing different? Is it sustainable?
I think it's sustainable. We're not old guys. We're not that old. We've been fresh all season. This is what the playoffs is about. This time of year, you get more than enough rest in between. It's not any back-to-backs. You get more than enough rest to be able to bounce back and play 40 minutes if you need to. But there weren't many times in San Antonio where we went that short of a rotation. It's very few, sometimes, very few. But we're fortunate enough that we had a lot of guys, a deep bench, bigger bodies. I think the reason why we have to go shorter rotation now is because our smaller guards are having a tough time getting free. With Fred, Norm, even Kalo at times. Kalo said he had to shoot shots he hasn't shot in a year and a half or something like that. But he shot them and it looked pretty good. I think that we're shorter rotations because we're trying to keep bigger bodies, get bigger length because of how they've been out rebounding us the last couple of games.
Danny, you mentioned Tim, Tony, and Manu with the Spurs experience. For Tim, what did you see from him as far as the characteristics that were mentioned about Kawhi, not getting too high or too low?
Very similar. I think a lot of that of Kawhi is from Tim. It's very similar mannerisms, the way they carry themselves. Timmy never got too excited or too happy about anything. Never got too. Probably a little bit more down on himself than probably his biggest critic. Probably more so than Kawhi does. I'm sure Kawhi gets down on himself, but you never know, never could tell. But you can tell when Timmy was upset or frustrated a little more than Kawhi. But I said they have the same type of personality, same competitive nature. And I think he learned a lot of that, being around, Timmy and Tony and Manu as well. Manu a little more emotional, more passionate, but Timmy and Tony for sure.
How much does that personality sort of pay off? I guess most of the time, but specifically this time of the year with all the highs and the lows of the playoffs and all that.
I said it allows you to just, next play, move on to the next play, and that's pretty much what this whole league is about, moving on to the next play, next game. There's so many games, there's so many plays, so many possessions. Not every possession is going to be perfect. Obviously, this time of year, we know every possession matters, so we're going to play as hard as you possibly can, and it may not go your way, but when you're not too emotional about each play or too down on yourself or too high on yourself. It allows you to move on, move to the next one without worrying about the last one, and move on to the next one confidently.
How would you compare and contrast playing for a consummate veteran coach like Pop to a guy in Nurse who's going through it for the first time as a head coach?
That's different. I won't say any worse or any or better, but very different. Obviously, Nick, Coach Nurse, he likes to see what we're comfortable with as well, get our feedback on certain things, which I like a ton. A little different with Pop.
Pop's not as interested?
Yeah.
Would he ever ask you?
No. I mean, this is what we're gonna do, and this is what you gotta do it. Best of your ability. I mean, I think you get some feedback from assistants. Obviously, it's the coach staff, and assistants might get some feedback from us a little bit, but for the most part, no.
Danny, that you see Kawhi's numbers in comparison to Jordan and Kobe, are you surprised with that at all? And do you know that he's capable of achieving numbers?
Did I know he's capable? Yeah, I thought he was very capable, especially if teams, they have been doubling him. If teams don't throw double teams at him, and he has a group around him that can keep the defense honest, obviously we got to do a better job of making shots and then keeping the defense honest so that they can't double as much. I think he's very capable of going on. I've seen him go on pretty good streaks like this throughout different seasons. Not too much in the playoffs of this high, but I knew he was very capable. I didn't know it was Kobe and Mike numbers, or it's pretty impressive. But we're going to need him to continue that as best he can. We know that it's going to be tough for him throughout the whole playoffs. That's why it's our job to try to take some of that weight off of his shoulders, make some shots, make some plays, and that's doing on defensive end of the floor as well. Offensively, we got to find different rhythms, different movements, different options that may work for us to give him a break or two.
Danny, is there anything that you might have seen on film today, or just reflecting back on yesterday's game, that kind of about Kawhi's performance, particularly that should have had wow, he really did that?
Oh, we didn't really have a Kawhi film today, but there were a couple of plays in there where, like, he had some tough ones, because we did look at some offensive clips that worked. And, like, we have this option, and there's always that option there too, Kawhi. You could take the step-back jumper, over a big man and make it look easy. So there's a couple of clips that we've seen, and, we're like, wow, or sheesh.
With both teams having won on the road in this series, you talk about the importance of coming back and how critical it is to protect home court.
Well, we've given up home court in both series now. Luckily in Orlando, we were able to get it back early in the first game, 3, and then get game 4 too. This series, we weren't able to get home court back in game 3, but luckily we snuck away and got one in game 4. So, if we're going to give it up that early in the series, we got to be able to protect it now, this late in the series. We have to win if we want to get out of this, and go into the next round. So it's very important that, I'm sure our fans will be there. They're going to show up. It's very important that we show up and protect it, know that we go back to Philly, hopefully up 3-2.
The whole team's percentages are down on wide open shots or open shots. Is that related maybe to differences in ball movement that in the playoffs?
For sure. Definitely. A lot of things come into factor when it comes about. I think it's a different rhythm shots. It's different looks that we're getting thrown at defensively. They're obviously a great team, and they move. They're very athletic, explosive, have long arms, and they can cover ground very quickly. So as much as you think they're uncontested, they're not as uncontested as they feel. Especially set our smaller guards having a tough time getting space, getting free, attacking, getting in the paint. But I said there's different rhythm shots, because the game sometimes, a lot of times, it slows down in the playoffs. During the season, we want to still get back to that and push the pace. But during the season, you get a lot more uncontested. We're just running all game. So the playoffs slows down, half court set. You get the ball to your guys, and you have a better chance of scoring that way. A lot of times you're just waiting to see if they make a mistake, the defense commits, then you'll get an open one. But a lot of times it doesn't go that way. And a lot of times it might be the end of the shot clock. So regardless, you got to be able to make plays, step up, and hopefully make some shots.
Danny, on that note, how has Kyle been able to contribute, even though his scoring's down and his shooting percentage is down, and the number of shots that he's been able to take are down a little bit?
Percentages are, really null and void at this point. I just like the fact that he's still, even especially in Game 4, he's aggressive. Whether he's missing them or not, he's taking them, and that's what we need because it keeps the defense honest. We need him attacking, being aggressive, getting downhill on the pick and roll, and even taking some floaters or two and shooting the 3-ball. So because it makes the defense, it takes a lot of pressure off the other guys that are, the Kawhi. They can't double as much when they know, Kalo's aggressive. When he's making plays and being that aggressive, it opens up the floor for me, Pascal. But so the little things that he does, taking charges, getting steals, getting rebounds, boxing people out, those little, and drawing fouls on offense, those little things are huge when it comes to playoff time and to getting to 50-50 ball. He's been a big plus for us, regardless of what his numbers are of shooting percentages and what he ends up on the box score with points. Thank you, guys.
Explanation of sort of the difference in the rhythm between the playoffs and the regular season?
Yeah, I think so. I think I mentioned this a little bit after the game last night. We haven't been in great rhythm here in the last few games. Game 1, we certainly were, and for a lot of games in Orlando, I thought we were too. But again, that's playing the same team over and over. That's playing a different team. That's how tough it gets to kind of get to your rhythm in the playoffs. I don't know what else to say about it other than that.
What's the key to improving that?
Well, I think one of the keys that we said was we got to get ready to shoot. I think the first problem is we since they were out of rhythm a little bit, we weren't ready to pull the trigger enough, right? I think we did a better job of that last night, right? And again, you gotta take shots that are there. They're sending bodies all over the place, and they get swung out to guys that we want to shoot those shots that have been shooting them all year. They got to take them.
Nick, obviously, Kawhi's personality, his demeanor translates on the floor with his game as well in the way he doesn't get sped up, he doesn't get shaken up. At this time of the year, how much does that help him not only deal with these high-pressure moments, but thrive in them?
Well, I think it probably helps him, Josh. Again, he is so even keeled. It was a question that Hubie Brown asked me pregame yesterday. Like, this guy's out there doing it with like no expression on his face at all, right? But that's just who he is, and I like it a lot, right? I don't think I think there's no time for any types of celebrations. There's work to do, man. You score a bucket and you got to start guarding. You win a game and you got to play another one. I mean, this is to borrow a phrase that everybody uses. This is a grind. These things are grinders, and being even keeled and professional, hardworking, tough mentality is what it needs on each game and each possession, really, both ends.
Coach, how's Pascal doing now, the day after playing it, and do you have confidence that he can be back at, peak performance for the next game?
He's doing okay, right? He's still sore. He's not 100%. And I have confidence he can probably impact the game a little more than he did yesterday. Right? I think he's kind of always shown us this whole season, even in the playoffs, that he can be a really productive member of the team. Obviously, he was struggling a little bit yesterday, but again, I applaud that he was out there impacting the game in other ways other than just scoring. And then sometimes that's the way it is. It's, we talk about that with like Danny Green and with Fred and those guys too. Sometimes, I wouldn't stray too far from Danny Green either in these games, right? And he just hasn't had a ton of opportunities, but he's still doing a hell of a job of defending and creating space on offense because of his, threat to get hot. And I think Pascal did that yesterday as well. He impacted the game in other ways.
You talk about opening the floor, being ready to pull the trigger. And on the other hand, you went with, two centers for almost half the game, and they won those minutes, and it was excellent. What's the balance and the calculus between sort of those two and the other influence the decisions you make?
Yeah, I mean, I think the good thing is both those two bigs can pull the trigger and are going to get their opportunities too. You just it's kind of the way it is when you've got a shot blocking presence, which they do. They want to use that, right? And he's done that pretty well. But that also means that once you take it in there and he goes to block the shot, if your bigs are spacing, there's usually a safety valve outlet there for him to kick it back out to. Again, those guys got to take them. Mark stepped in and made a couple. Serge has, historically made those. Again, I just think that they're going to have 4 or 5 opportunities apiece to shoot them tomorrow night, and they're going to have to do it.
Nick, I'm just wondering, did you kind of back things off today, give your guys sort of more downtime at practice here to kind of account for the extra minutes that your starters played?
Yeah, we just had a film session and shooting today.
Danny was sort of comparing and contrasting playing for Pop and playing for you. Why the expression? Here's his expression.
That's tough.
Why?
That's tough.
Why the expression?
No, what's the question? What's the question?
Why the expression?
Well, I don't know if I don't know. That's I don't know. There's no comparison there, right?
You both NBA coaches.
Yeah, okay. That's where it ends. That's where it ends.
But what he was saying that one of the differences is that you take input from players quite a bit more than Pop. In fact, a lot more because Pop doesn't take it. I mean, what goes into that for you?
Well, I think that it's really just my overall philosophy that when I transitioned from a college coach to a professional coach a long time ago, I felt that professional players were really good. They'd been through a lot, and that I wanted to see their viewpoint, really. And it's still don't make any mistake about it. I'm not doing everything they say, right? But I am listening and doing some of the things they say, because sometimes they like I always say, I'm not the one out there guarding that screen and roll, it's them. And if they've got a suggestion on how they feel they can guard it a little better than what I'm seeing or what our coaching staff is seeing, then we give them the latitude to go ahead and use those coverages.
Is there a instance you could point to where a player maybe convinced you of something you didn't believe?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of them. I mean, the ones that are fresh in my head would be from last night's game. We changed coverages on the side screen and rolls, right? And I'm not sure that it was their suggestion, but it was me asking them a question. I think we ought to change this. What do you guys, and stuff like that. And they agreed, and we did it, and ends up working out okay.
Danny said he's ready to play 40 minutes.
Who?
Danny said that obviously the rotation got shortened, so that'll be a problem with the one day off between games. He said no, at this point they're all ready. But are you hoping maybe to extend the rotation a little bit for tomorrow?
I don't know, right? I think at this point the answer is you got to do what you got to do, and each game takes on its own personality, right? I just I just don't ever know. I didn't plan on it being the way it was last night at all. I did plan on going bigger, right, to help us in the rebounding. Tomorrow's game will probably change, but I think my basic philosophy is whenever you're rolling, you get to continue to roll. If you come in off the bench and you impact, your minutes get extended, right? If you come in off the bench and you impact in a big way, you might play 15 minutes straight. We've always kind of had that philosophy. So I'm not really. I think Danny's right that each and every one of them is probably ready to play 40 plus if they need to, and I think the bench guys are chomping at the bit to make a bigger impact. And it's just kind of where we are, but it's no different. Their players are feeling the same way, I'm sure.
Coach, when you see Kawhi's efficiency and what he's been able to do throughout these playoffs, and there's not comparisons to Kobe and Jordan, from your vantage point, what is it like to see someone in that kind of zone, and are those fair comparisons?
Well, he's been really, really good, right? And he's been, from my vantage point, it's been really fun to watch, right? It's been really fun to watch, and we've needed him to be that good, so it's good. Who were the comparisons against? Kobe and Jordan. Yeah, I'm not really into comparisons type of guy, really. I just think it's always different era, different rules, different players, different schemes, different matchups, all those kind of things that I think it makes it hard. But in this era, in the situation we're in right now, he's pretty damn good.
When you look back pregame last night, or yesterday afternoon, how much pressure did you feel to have in the game?
I don't know, not any more really than the normal. I obviously understand it was a pivotal game in the series, right? I just felt that our guys, as they have done most of this year, almost all the times this year, when they needed to respond, they have. I was pretty confident they were going to play with that type of energy and toughness. And you know, I figured that we'd have a really good chance to win, and I think that's you go into that, and usually, like I feel worse for like my friends and family. They're telling me they're sick and pacing and headaches and all kinds of stuff. I'm lost in the middle of the game. I don't really feel any of that stuff. You were probably pacing and sick and headaches too yesterday, Dave. No.
Family has no faith.
No, they just want to win so badly. You know, they want to win so badly, right? I get it.
Thank you,
We
everybody.
good. All right.